Here is an extremely dangerous filtration system with anomalous capabilities. But my friends, unlike the matters concerning SCP-242, otherwise known as the self-cleaning pool, like many code names assigned to anomalies by the SCP Foundation, the pun belies just how dangerous and horrifying this seemingly innocent pool can really be. 4.5 meters wide by 9 meters long, with a depth ranging from 1 meter deep on both ends to 1.5 meters deep in the center, and a total volume of approximately 53,000 liters. It was discovered after the mysterious disappearance of a New Mexico retiree who'd been an out-of-state landlord for the better part of his life. According to the tenant records of the house, tenants had changed frequently, something that had always perplexed the landlord. His tenants just seemed to stop paying the rent and disappear without giving any kind of advance notice. After retiring, he decided to live at the property himself. And after taking a dip in the pool, he found out firsthand exactly what had happened to all of his tenants. And just like them, he was never seen again. That's when the SCP Foundation got involved and discovered what they really had on their hands here. A swimming pool capable of total matter transmutation of anything placed inside it into completely sterile, chemically pure water. And this water is quite literally as pure as any water could be. So much so that it remains pure even when placed into contaminated sources. In order to test this, Foundation researchers dyed a tank full of regular water red before pouring a glass of water from SCP-242 into the tank. The added anomalous water remained pure, floating as a transparent orb amidst the dyed liquid. It seems that almost anything can be transmuted, but the amount of time the transmutation takes will depend on the severity of the contaminant added to the water. Ordinary river water was completely purified in 7 minutes. Mucky and stagnant water from a local pond was rendered clean in less than 20 minutes, and the pool was even able to purify 50,000 pounds of tar in 12 days. And then there are the living contaminants, but all good things to those who wait. As the self-cleaning part of the codename suggests, the anomalous attribute of the pool activates autonomously as soon as something or somebody enters. The lights turn on, the jets start pumping, the dual waterfall features start to flow, and if it's in the pool, the cleaning crawler will patrol from side to side of the pool. This is the case even when the pool isn't connected to any kind of external power source. That, I'm afraid, is when things get nasty. While the disappearance of the property owner was certainly a strange occurrence, especially given the other quick departures from the property in the past, it wasn't a definitive answer. But the Foundation's investigation was given an unexpected boon, thanks to a disturbing incident recorded on an on-site security camera sometime after the homeowner had disappeared. The camera captured a scene straight out of a rom-com, which quickly transitioned into something out of a horror movie. A couple in their early 20s scaled the backyard fence of the property in the middle of the night, perhaps in a state of intoxication. They disrobed and climbed into the pool for some late-night skinny dipping after obtaining a pair of inflatable rafts from the garden shed. As soon as they entered the pool, the lights, pool jets, and pool crawler activated. At this point, the woman became nervous. But in true horror movie fashion, her male companion told her that there was nothing to worry about. The owner of the house had disappeared. It's not like anyone would really care if they were doing some benign, sexy trespassing to cap off a special date night. After 24 continuous minutes in the pool, the woman began to complain that the water was getting unusually hot and her skin was starting to feel tingly. The man at this point actually agreed. If the two of them had gotten out of the water there and then, their lives likely would have been saved. And who knows what type of relationship they would have gone on to have after that. Maybe they would have gotten married, had kids, found the cure for cancer, and won the Nobel Peace Prize. Who's to say? But that's not what happened. Instead of getting out of the pool, they climbed up onto the rafts and fell asleep, floating together in the water, holding hands. 6 minutes later, both rafts popped, and the couple was dropped into the water below. The water began to bubble and froth, slowly turning red, like a crimson bloom from the location of each of the sunken young lovers. They screamed loudly as the water swamped them. Any attempts to escape, made futile by their rapid molecular disintegration. Once the water of the pool had gone entirely red, the bubbling stopped. 48 seconds later, the water turned clear, revealing it was now completely empty. No sign of the couple or the burst rafts remained. The Foundation contemplated adding a lifeguard after this. Naturally, when the Foundation encounters an anomaly that has the dual effect of creating incredibly pure water and utterly annihilating any alien matter placed into it, they have a few questions. What are the general properties of the water contained in SCP-242? Does the water retain any SCP-like properties when removed from the location? In other words, they wanted to test whether the water is safe for human consumption, both while in the SCP and outside of it. It's rare that in these files we're given a comprehensive ledger of the equipment used to actually conduct the Foundation experiment, but the file for SCP-242 features a full list of requested equipment in the experiment proposal. This consists of 2 titanium atmospheric dive suits altered to fit the testing criteria, 2 Class D personnel of like gender and race, age range to within 3 years, 1 food-grade titanium barrel 190 liters capacity, and 1 remotely controlled overhead crane capable of lifting 20 metric tons. Stay tuned, there's more. 1 automated titanium siphon system, 1 wireless communication system for separate links to and from both dive suits, and 1 home fumigation tenting unit used to create a quote neighborhood subterfuge. It goes without saying that conducting experiments for the SCP Foundation is both complicated and costly. But let's see if the results justified all this. Test subject A was put into one of the dive suits and lowered into the pool, where he was instructed to drink from a metal straw that fed into the pool. While this was happening, test subject B was instructed to get into the other dive suit. However, he would not be lowered into the pool. Instead, he would drink out of a barrel filled with SCP-242 purified water. Test subject A shared that he found the water to be incredibly warm and that it had a strange chemical aftertaste. Test subject B, on the other hand, reported that the water was cool, tasteless, and immensely refreshing. Strange. Already clear differences were manifesting depending on the water. The musings of the scientists were interrupted by a long, loud belch from test subject A. It seemed that drinking the water, which he reported as being warmer and more unpleasant to taste than ever, was causing considerable gas buildup in his stomach. Intriguing. The researcher asked each of the test subjects to take another sip from their respective water sources. For test subject B, it was still all smooth sailing. The water was cool and refreshing as ever. But when test subject A took a sip, he found to his horror that it was stinging the inside of his mouth and throat. This led to a coughing fit where he coughed up one of his fillings. That was when the panic started to set in. Test subject A began to scream and splutter as the diving suit filled with water coming from the pool, the diving suit itself, and his body. The transmutation had begun. But the most horrifying part was that it wasn't just happening from the outside in, but also the inside out. Test subject B, on the other hand, was having a pretty wonderful time. For him, this experiment seemed to only entail getting into a weird diving suit and drinking up some refreshing mineral water. The researcher dismissed him from the experiment, saying, "Okay, test subject B, we're moving to the next phase, which is a full medical analysis. But you'll need to decompress before you can exit the suit. It will take several hours, so get comfortable in there. Please take a drink every time the indicator light goes on and let me know if anything changes. Use the urination adapter as needed." To which the shockingly lucky D-Class replied, Understood. That was easy. The debrief on the experiment read, testing was ended due to internal electrical and subsequent structural failure of atmospheric dive suit. A retrieval was not attempted. Complete loss of atmospheric dive suit A occurred after approximately 15 hours. Test subject B was extracted after 17 hours. No physiological changes were detected. Subject B's urine was recovered and showed no extraordinary properties. Subject B has been released to the Class D pool group for future reuse. The water remaining in the barrel was left to evaporate and did so within the expected time frame. No residue of any kind remain. Approvals on further tests for SCP-242 are still pending. Now that the property where SCP-242 is situated is under the command of the Foundation, it's actually relatively easy to keep it under lock and key, giving it the containment class safe. The New Mexico home is operated just like all the others on its street, with 2 Foundation researchers living there and posing as a married couple, with a level 1 guard posing as their living cook. I don't know about all of you, but I personally think that it would be an excellent premise for a spy family-esque sitcom. And because the Foundation has never been one to let a potentially useful anomaly go to waste, the proposal has been logged to potentially use this anomaly as a way to dispose of other hazardous SCP materials. If this proposal was accepted, it would likely mean that SCP-242 would be reclassified as Thiel. But until we have anything official on that, we'll play it safe and stick to safe. Access to the pool is strictly regulated, with D-Class personnel being the only ones allowed into the water, and even then, only during heavily regulated testing periods. It's best to follow the Foundation containment procedures on this one, folks. This is one pool that you don't want to dip your toe into. Well, if you want to keep your toe anyway. If you enjoyed this kind of video, why not show some love by hitting that like button? And hey, don't forget to subscribe for more awesome content. We've got plenty of exciting stuff coming your way, and you definitely won't want to miss out.